Hi, boys and girls. Oh, hi. This is me, Mr. Norbert, in 1994, with my voice video. And I really hope you YouTube staff looking at this thing. I really hope you do. Because I would like to ask a direct question to you people. What's my main problem with my channel? Tell me. This reuse content is just doesn't make me comfortable, to be completely honest with you. And I really want to know, what's your problem? What's your problem, tell me? And I'm trying to do my greatest effort to not use bad language and slurs and any kind of stuff like that. Because normally, I don't like to do voiceover videos. You know what? This is it. Are you happy? Don't tell me that this video doesn't satisfy your statistic. This is not reuse content. This is my content. I'm playing this game right here. Almost 700 million people do that stuff every single day. So don't tell me this is reuse content. Content that has been reused by I don't know who. But to have a little bit of positive attitude to this video, let me tell about this game at least. Basically, it's one of the all-time favorite games of mine that I used to play endlessly when I was a little children. Why? Because it's relaxing and doesn't make me want to do bad things, or I don't know. It's really hard to talk about a game like this in a condition like this. But I guess, hello all of you who miss my little voice. I guess it's a comeback then. If I don't make a penny with this channel, then so be it. Though I'm not going to add my face to the video, it's because I'm not going to go into that to that low level of quality of entertainment. This is already low quality entertainment from me. I mean, I don't like to edit videos. I don't have editors. I don't have all these fancy stuff like every YouTuber has. I'm a part-time YouTuber. I don't have shallows. I don't have all that thing. Honestly. And I'm not going to willing to delete my older videos, no matter how they are not up to today's standards. Because I don't really give up redacted word about today's trends and what people do. I do what I want to do. Yeah, I really can't add anything to this, because this is basically like a response video to YouTube. Kind of a very low effort one, but you know what? At this point, I don't care. I just don't care about it. Really, let's try to talk about the game itself. I mean, what there is about to say about this game that hasn't been said like a million times already. It's a simple puzzle game from the 2000s. It was developed by PopCap Games, who are no longer in business thanks to Electronic Arts as well. So they can make all those new dysfunctional games with 3 million microtransactions and all of that good things. But at least PopCap from 2000 to 2012 at least made some real classic bangers when it comes to these games, like exceptionally great games. So yeah, rest in peace, Popcap. I mean, they made Peggle, free Bejeweled games. They were actually ported to Xbox 360 and other consoles as well, but you know, PopCap games just doesn't feel alright on consoles. I mean, just look at a game like this. Do you really want to play this with a controller? Do ya? I seriously cannot imagine someone is that stupid enough to use a controller for a puzzle game like this, where you basically literally have to click your way through the gems to make the three-piece match, and that's all there is to say. I mean, there are 4 game modes, and there are also additional 4 more game modes that can be unlocked by playing. I mean, yeah, I think in Classic you have to reach a specific level, and so there is when it comes to the puzzle mode, and yeah, that's it. And also there's the puzzle mode, which is literally like a puzzle mode, but if you beat the puzzle mode, then you get a cognito mode, which is like a hardcore puzzle mode, because you have one big help when it comes to the puzzle mode aspect of the game. You can use the hint section as much as you want, but that doesn't translate into the cognito mode, which is, I think, basically the same as the normal puzzle mode, but you cannot use any hints, and you have a limited time to complete a stage. That's really all there is to it. So it's basically like a big memory game, because the puzzle mode isn't really necessarily long in that sense, but it's long enough that you probably won't going to remember every single one of the combinations how to do every, unless you have like a pen and paper or something like that, which I honestly doubt anybody would go into that deep. I mean, as much as people love this game, I think there are quite a few other videos which are probably reuse content. I can't stress this thing enough, which is just YouTube policies. They whatever. Okay, so there's probably a lot of other videos that has a better detail and like high score attempts, because the thing is with this game is that there are only like 2 major releases: a Steam version, what I am playing right now, and a retail version, which was mostly pirated. Yes, pirated back in those days, because as much as I'm aware, and if anybody actually watches the video because of the game, and not because this is basically like a rant in another dimension. Yeah, I mean, okay. So there were two big releases: a retail version, which is probably sold in a box or something like that, and this Steam version, which was ironically it was one of the very first Steam games ever to be put on the platform. At least according to console things, we could have seen in a lot of earlier videos. And yeah, basically he was honestly, if he wasn't him, I would probably never have a Steam account to begin with, because back in the day, or I believe in the past 10 years, I used to have a laptop which was so not up for the standards. I mean, it's just crazy how much technology is evolving, and software and hardware and all of that. That really, it was just, you know, to be honest, if you look at my channel, it's kind of a miracle that I was able to make these videos in the first place. Monetization or monetization not. All of from 2011 to 2019, every single video of my videos was made on that very old Fujitsu laptop. That Fujitsu S Primo Mobile series, I don't even remember the brand number anymore. It was a disaster. Yeah, that happens when you're broke and you don't have a job and you are still just a student. I really have no idea how much to express that those days are finally over. Those are over, oh my god. I know that money is actually a very big thing in these days, but I mean, let's be honest. Who else doesn't like to get money what they actually making, but they are having fun in a project? Just like YouTube monetization. I'm not gonna lie. And nobody, and anybody who says that they don't want money for their stuff, are they just liars? Don't tell me that there are still people in this day who wouldn't accept money after his content he was put on this platform. If so, then those are liars. I mean, the world and society has changed so much during these 10 years, so you can't really fool me. Unless you want to fool yourself. I mean, sure, go ahead, but whatever. Okay, so I think I'm just going to play until the game says no, that's your game over. Which can honestly can go for quite a long time or quite a short time. Because a little game strategy tips. What you basically want to do is at least have one hypercube, because it's basically like a free life or an extra life in a sense, because you can always make a lightning combo, because the hypercube, as you saw, works in a way that if you wipe it with another gem, it's cleared all of the gems that are on the playing field. And yeah, it can actually do a lot of bonus combos and bonus points, and so it can really help you in the process. Also, the other strategy that I have been using for the past years, at least from my experience, is that when you are later in the game, like from level 5 and onwards, where the game can go relatively unstable when it's gonna put the plug on you. The easiest way to survive, I could say that, is to always try to find matches on the top of the playing board, because if you are like, here's this cube right here. If I were about to blow it, then I'm risking the chance that the blocks on the top are going to go out of the order. So basically, it's just a risk game. So wanna go really far, or just if you wanna stop playing right now, then you can just do all kinds of crazy stunt combos. But yeah, it just risks the process that you can screw it up. And now, as you can see, I have a hypercube, and I'm trying my greatest effort to not to blow it up, because if you blow up the hypercube in this game, and even in part 3, then basically what happens that is they are just going to get bonus points of it. And because in part 3 they updated the game in that if you break a hypercube, then it still has its function, so it's still going to clear the board whatever gem it was hit by. Yeah, little game quirks here and there. I mean, I have a few videos about these Bejeweled games, so go watch them. Go watch my older videos then. But at least they don't have these obnoxious commentary what I'm making right now. But you know what? Monetization or monetization not, whatever the case. Since basically I'm forced to make this video because of this views content thing, then I guess this is going to be a perfect opportunity to those very small viewer base that I have. I mean, I'm not a mainstream YouTuber, thank goodness. I don't want to ever be that. I mean, I don't even really have the social skills to really impress a ton of people when it comes to these content creations, and I actually don't want to be that. I mean, sure, some people want to be famous, but I am the kind of person, and even if I am famous, then I don't really want to be in the spotlight like some, I don't know, like some pet or whatever it is. Oh, I also have to mention that the music, just, it is so good. Can't really put it into words. It was composed by Peter Hoiber, and honestly, his family name doesn't sound Finnish at all. It's honestly, I have a feeling that this guy might have some Hungarian descent or some very far relatives, but just like Jerry Springfield, or no, not Jerry Springfield, I'm idiot. Just like Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, he has Hungarian roots. I mean, he was Jewish or something. I don't really know, but so he's partly Hungarian, even though he doesn't speak the language and probably never going to speak it. I mean, dude is like almost 70 years old, so probably won't going to put his time on it. And he's a comedian, but I actually never really got into Seinfeld. I mean, and ironically enough, it wasn't really broadcasted here. I mean, it was, there are evidence that it was at one point, but it was just never really caught up here. Don't know why. Just a little trivia here. But anyhow, Bejeweled too. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just trying to do my best to... You know what, let's have a little achievement here, because this game doesn't have any achievements on Steam. I mean, at least you can make it up for yourself, but honestly kind of sucks. And I don't really understand if the content ID is going to do like shadow banning on me because I just said this S word. I don't care. I really don't care. So what kind of doesn't seem too good about the game that it doesn't have online leaderboards. And don't tell me there is some kind of reason to not have it in this game. I mean, seriously? An online leaderboard, I mean, just for at least the scores, it should have been at least a minimalistic effort to have a like sort of online competition in the field. Even though, since it's an old game, there are probably trainers and all kinds of Game Genie. This isn't a console game, for God's sake. There are probably game trainers and other third-party softwares to increase the score, because actually there is one for Bejeweled 3. So yeah, it just really comes to that point that even if it would have online leaderboards, it would be hacked like in no time, and that just sucks because a true gamer hates cheaters, and I do too, especially in online competition games. I mean, I haven't really even played online games to begin with until I got this Super Asus Vivobook laptop, which is also starting to hit the shitter. Okay, I don't really know. It's definitely minutes. Good luck content recognition system to recognize all my beautiful little words here. So this laptop is also now around the point that it's trying to hit the barrel, so getting all used up. Resources, the video card. So because of that the game is kind of laggy. And what's kind of weird, that this game is also seems to have quite a lot of stuttering. Unless, and I'm really not kidding here, if I use Steam's Big Picture mode, the game stops stuttering. And I really have no idea why is that. I mean, does the Steam Big Picture mode has some kind of processing power that can fix this issue? I really have no idea about this. I'm not a professional computer engineer. I mean, but I would still love to know what's the mathematic about it, that how can Steam's Big Picture mode reduce the stuttering even on a rusty laptop like this. Or it's not a rusty laptop, I mean it has an MX 150 video card inside, so dude, this thing can run Doom Eternal quite decently. It can run. I swear to God it can run Doom Eternal without too much of a hassle. Speaking of hassle, I almost got a game over here because, as you can see, I really do not have a lot of matches right now. I mean, it's really now at the left top corner of the screen right now. There's a little bonus and stuff like that. Okay, now we are back in action. So yeah, this is the real crappy ways of how unpredictable the gameplay can be when you play this. I mean, I guess most people wouldn't really care about it, how long they are going to play, because if you want to talk about just PopCap a little bit again, yes, there's an ambulance car. They have to work all the time in all these conditions, no matter what's happening. Okay, so if you want to talk about PopCap, they mainly made these how to say, the games for weekend gamers. Basically, for the type of people like my parents. Yes, I'm really not kidding here. Around the time when they were in their peak and they were still developing games from year to year, there was a period of time in my mother's life where even she used to play some of these games, like Peggle Deluxe, Zuma Deluxe, Rocket Mania. Yes, Rocket Mania, which, let me tell you, it sucks. You can no longer buy it in a digital storefront on Steam because it was developed by Nuclide Games. Some kind of licensing issue is most likely the reason, and the really bad thing is that you either pirate the game or you have to be really lucky to find an online auction that has a copy floating around there. I've seen a few retail copies from Canada and other elsewhere, but it's really, really, really rare when you can see those. Really, really rarely. So yeah, it kinda sucks. But still, so the point of what I'm trying to make, that most of these PopGap games were really targeted for people who don't really have much time in their hands. I mean, they have to cook, they have to do, those other mundane tasks that some of these people like me don't do that much often because they don't have a family or any of those other problems that I just mentioned here. Yeah, but we are also part of the society. Deal with it. Okay, but the thing is that they liked it too much, and until one point when they really just got bored of it. But it's impressive. But in my repertoire, it's impressive to see a game like this to even grab the attention of people who are not really into video games by a long shot, and they can still find some form of entertainment from it. And because of this, or at least the influence of Bejeweled 2, was also part that my mom used to play Candy Crush Saga on Facebook, even though it's not that great and I really have no interest, but technically it's the same thing as this, it's just a clone, but with, I think, microtransactions or something like that, or a daily limit, I don't know. Really, that was one of the first parts when these games were just really heading down into the mindless category, just so they can sell all kinds of, let me tell you, shit to the people. Borderline, unimpressive, unimaginative shit. I mean, just, if you're a serious gamer, just ask anybody who played on the PC in the early 2000s. Have you ever played Bejeweled? Any of those? Do you remember the soundtrack of it? I'm pretty sure that from about 30 people, at least one is going to say a definitive yes to this question. And hopefully this game's legacy is going to live on for generations and generations. I mean, honestly, it's shocking that PopCap Games is now a 20-year-old company. It still exists, but it's like a mere shadow of their former existence. And it's just really, really a damn shame. Because they used to make so many great games, but that's how, honestly, game companies are working. If they don't have enough money, they are going to be outsourced, and if they don't accept the deal, then they are probably going to get bankrupt. It's a really crappy situation, no matter how we are going to look at it. I mean, if you just look at news that EA Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, which is like a pretty big move. It's kind of weird that how all these companies are really trying to make a monopoly, to have like one big company that does all of these stuff. And that's kind of, it's like, call me conspiracy theories, but if that's going to be the future of gaming and game companies, then we are going to looking forward to a really, really dim future then. I have to tell you. I mean, for a long time I have not really considered myself a serious gamer, like gamer in a sense like this, that I'm actually making voice to it. constant voiceover. I mean, yeah, sure, I did some few Let's Plays of Famicom games from back then, but let's be honest. The games that I have usually Let's Played are probably for like 1% of the human race, that they are most likely not going to find any kind of fun of it or interest just to play it. Yeah, that's it. No matter how much I like it or not, that's a fact, and that's a fact. Okay, and now I think I am... I can't fucking believe this. Hello? Nem. Semmi. Az finom volt. Még a izét, a Milánóit. Igen. Többit majd hónap fogom majd megenni. Jó, hát majd akkor a hét folyamán. Kérlek szépen, ha tudni akarod, akkor egy kis Bejeweledbe. Igen. Nyelét. Ja, aztán hónap akkor megyek erre a vacakra. Hát, az soha nem fájt, hát csak bezseléznek valamit, azt akkor nézgélődnek, azt jó éjszakát. Ja, meg nagyon remélem azért sok borzalom azért nem fog ott lenni az épületben. Én sok maszkba leszek akkor is, úgyhogy figyelj, én túléltem már a Vasas-Szentpétert, meg az ilyen szűk helyeket, úgyhogy én már azt mondom, hogy én már nem kapok el semmit. Ilyen hangosan. Persze, meg hogy tovább, meg mind merre. Persze. Jó. Jó. Hát, szerintem tuti, hogy nem, mivel én még nem nagyon láttam olyat, hogy ottan bárkit behívnának idejében. Persze. Sike, na puszi. Szia, 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 szia. Well, that was a phone call, and I'm sorry, I am not going to put down the phone. At least you can hold me a casual, normal conversation on my own language. Bah, suck it. I don't care. At least it's going to make a part of a little history. I mean, there is really quite a few times when I really make this kind of content. And this is going to be probably the only one that I am going to make as a part of forced content, to avoid this reuse content thing, because just laws. And I mean, holy moly, I'm on level 14 right now and almost 100,000 points. Kind of a new record here. You know, I'm going to start to wonder how long this is going to last. So really, as I said the strategy a little while ago, you really have to pay attention what's in the top rows. You really have to think in these times, so it's kind of have that logical vibe that all these puzzle games have. I mean, you have to think a little bit. I mean, and actually, if you really want to know who was the phone call, my very own mother, what I've just talked about a few minutes ago. Yeah, Mom is now officially in one of my videos. And you know what? I don't care. At least the video has a nice diversity. And you know what? You know what's the happiest person about all of this fiasco? Mom. Really, my mother. She doesn't give a flying redacted word here about the word. Just the dog, just to survive, just to be happy and do all the things, watch a few of series on TV, and that's it. And as weird as it sounds, I'm honestly not blaming her for this. This world what we living in, no matter what kind of world we are speaking about, gamer world or political world or anything like that, it's so toxical and just trying to make you uncomfortable every little second of it. You know what? That's why I actually that's what was one of my motivations when I ever just had to put on my online presence here to make positive vibes as much as possible. I mean, seriously, this world has so many horrible things in it. Let's try to recycle the lyrics from Genesis's Land of Confusion. Let's try to make this place a better place to be living in and a place to be fighting for. Yeah, this LP video is really going on and off all the time. At least it's a diversity, and at least it's trying to be original and unique and whatever the hell you want to call this content. Because honestly, what I'm doing doesn't really need any kind of talent, you say. Yeah. Open a game, have a microphone, even if it's the crappiest one you can imaginable from the last millennium, and just start talking. That's what Let's Play videos are. Yeah, most of them are really focused about talking about the game itself, but there are just some games like this that is just hard to comment on it after a while. I mean, sure, it is a cult classic and everybody loves it, and that's no denying factor there. But really, oh my god, level 15. At least I got my achievement, what I've set for myself a little while ago. So yeah, talking about PopCap games again, and especially the way of how these games handle their online achievement status, which is like, oh boy, it's extremely unbalanced. I mean, you have to know that there is like a handful of games, even on the PC platform, which handles any kind of achievements for your game bar. This is, I think, to be for the better, this isn't one of those. Because Bejeweled 3 has some of the most ludicrous, okay, I'm probably exaggerating, but some of the achievement factors, what you have to do in the game is just ridiculously difficult. And honestly, some of them doesn't sound incomprehensible to do. It's just, the thing is that these puzzle games extremely rely on RNG, and especially Bejeweled 3, which is honestly the best Bejeweled game when it comes to the diversity of the gameplay, even if it goes a little bit off the wall. And I kind of stunned that Steam doesn't even have a bundle like for the Bejeweled Classic series or something like that. Think about it as the Orange Box for Valve. They don't have that for some reason, and yeah, that's kind of strange. What I really mean by here is just to have a bundle which has all of these classic games and you can really buy it for pennies on a big sale, or even for a cheaper price if there is no sale at the moment. I mean, literally, you can buy these games for like $1 or even less when they are on sale, which is like crazy. And honestly, these old games are also really make better use of your time, because they really have more content to it. Not to mention, they don't have microtransactions and all of those beautiful things what the fate of the gaming industry is now suffering from. Seriously, who invented microtransactions? Whose bright idea was that? They are basically making the gaming world as like an open world, like for gambling, legal or illegal, whatever the case is. It's just unfair. Back then, you really had to earn and sit down to have a lot of time with the game to fully achieve it. And if you watched the latest video, which was just an ending footage of me clearing Resident Evil 4 on the hardest, aka professional difficulty, honestly, these older games have way more content to it. Which is like crazy to think that like a 16-year-old game has more content without DLCs and all of that thing than most modern games, which is saddening. I mean, I'm not entirely against microtransactions, because every invention I'm trying to find something useful in it. I mean, somebody wants like a nude custom. I know it sounds a little bit offensive right now, but honestly, what I've seen in most AA games, most of the DLCs nowadays are just include some kind of alternate outfit or alternate custom or stuff like that. So honestly, the biggest gripe with DLCs nowadays that they barely give you like game content what they are supposed to do, which is really a crappy way to even farm more money out of the consumer. But honestly, at least gamers nowadays don't have to deal with copy protection and all those beautiful things what you have to do in the early 2000s. Yeah, Securom and like Star Force, all those beautiful copy protection schemes that basically could broke your computer if you are not doing correctly and exactly what they are saying to do. No wonder why a lot of people use Steam as like the go-to platform when it comes to digital distribution games, but that's the that's the interesting thing, that somehow they say that you don't own these games. You're basically renting like them. Just like in a video store in the 90s, which is, I have to disagree with it, because at least Steam gives you that red flag if for some reason they ever going to go out of business. Because honestly, any kind of software publisher can have this issue. I mean, you really have no idea what the future goes, but I'm pretty sure even if Gabe Newell dies, because honestly, everybody is going to die at one point, and he is also going to be 60 years old this year, which is like, oh man, we are getting old. So what I'm trying to make my point is that I'm pretty sure Steam is going to be lasting for quite a long time. I mean, seriously, tell me honestly in the comments if you will, when was the last time when you bought a game, a PC game, from a game store? Like you bought in your two tiny little eggs and bought a PC game for yourself. Tell me. The last time for me was probably in 2018 or 2019 or something like that. So it was not really far from ago, because really I've been only using Steam for like 3 years now. This is going to be my third anniversary of being on this platform, which is crazy to think about it. But honestly, that 3 years was also like happened like in a cinder of seconds. So yeah, honestly, humanity's biggest enemy is time, because it just goes forward, like crazy fast. So yeah, holy crap. Oh my god. So yeah, back to PopCap. These games really have this RNG feel to them, because PopCap games, or at least Bejeweled games, can be your greatest friend and your worst enemy at the same time. Yeah, I just said that, because really, the RNG factors in these games are extremely unpredictable, and you really don't know when you are going to get screwed over and when not. Like, sometimes, in a case what you are watching right now, you can go on for almost like an hour, a seamless hour of play without any kind of error, which is kind of amazing, to say at least. So yeah, I am doing really good right here. Don't know if... I don't think you can even hear the sound effects. Wow. Wow. The sound effects are overly loud. Yeah, they are way too loud. That's why you probably cannot hear them. Sorry about that. Honestly, they are just sound effects. They get the job done. Not that they are copyright protected or anything like that. Honestly, that's going to be the second biggest fear of the human race. Copyright protected sound effects, or just content ID because of a sound effect. Please, don't let be the fate of the humanity of that, because that's going to be a big problem. So yeah. Man, 50 minutes in it. Oh, by the way, if you want to add me on Steam, I think if you have a little IQ, you can probably find me. It's very easy. I have the same name on almost every other online platform, so you just so yeah, you don't really need to have a big brain how to add me. If you want to, you don't have to. I'm just saying that I'm not rejecting friend requests. Though I'm not sure, but when it comes to online games and to play with some of you people together, I cannot guarantee that. I absolutely cannot guarantee that. Again, I'm not too into the online gaming fiasco, to be honest. I mean, there are a few that I enjoy, but wait, that's only a few and not too much. Okay, and now you were able to see a scenario where I absolutely had to use the hypercube, because if I didn't have that, then then my game could have been over like just now. So this is why I say that you really have to plan your moves carefully. But even if you're extremely careful, you can really get into sticky situations. Level complete. Holy shit. I don't think I... Mode unlocked. Oh, well, something fell off. You have unlocked the secret game mode. The new game cannot be accessed from the menu. Oh, so you have to access level 18 just to unlock the new game mode. Okay, well, at least you could see it in action. I thought that you only need to reach level 10 or something, but no, you have to reach level 18. Whoa. But at least the game gives you enough challenge, even though PopCap games are kinda like in a vein of some early 80s NES games, that most of the stuff and requirements, what you really need to do and perform to have these extra bonuses, are hidden. They don't tell you how to do that. So at least they give you that little mystery vibe to it. But honestly, I just don't really like the idea when if a developer nowadays for a modern game, so they make a modern game and they add achievements, but they hide all of the achievements and you really have no idea how to unlock them. I mean, sure, sooner or later, if the game has a fan base or a following, sooner or later the hardcore people are going to find out what are those requirements are, but it just feels kind of cheap, to me at least. But that's just me. We are probably not the same. You might like a surprise. I do like surprises for a certain degree, but it's like... it kind of feels like that I have a surprise for you, but the surprise is still in the store. So in order to have the surprise, you have to go with me and then inspect every item, and it's just like a guessing game that what was the surprise that I was about to give you. So I hope this makes any logical context sense. What I mean by these hidden achievements. But thankfully there are not too many games that has these interesting things in them. Yeah. This music, oh man, this music. It's so relaxing. And honestly, that's kind of, I don't think I can count this as a problem, because really besides there is like the main game theme, the puzzle, the timed mode or the time challenge mode has the same music, but it starts from a different segment, because the music, as far as I can tell, was composed in Impulse Tracker back in those days. So yes, this is a tracker-based music, and basically what they did, as far as I can tell, that they made a whole music that is like 30 minutes long. So yeah, it just looped. It is going to loop again to be the third time right now. And the thing is that they have these like little segmentation of the song, like it was probably highly compressed or something like that. So yeah, you really have one basic game theme, and it just probably a limitation. I mean, the game is like 20 megabytes, which is like incredibly small compared to these modern games, which is like HDD requirement disk space, which is like crazy, honestly. I mean, at least coming from these NES games, which were like freaking kilobytes, man. Few kilobytes of data. And they still can prove quite a big challenge and gameplay. So honestly, game data size doesn't really matter as long as the game is itself playable and enjoyable. Or maybe it's not a trend, so that this game is from the early 2000s and it's barely 20 megabytes in size. That says a lot how these games evolved in disk space size. And you know, what's kind of sad, that I can still imagine people who don't really have that much money or budget on gaming in general, like now, because I am in a debt right now. We still don't have these terabyte like HDD spaces. So yeah, either you have like something that's gonna broke on you like in any second, or you really have to save money on to invest in stuff like that. Life is not cheap, as you already know this information. Holy crap! I've been sitting here for almost one hour right now. That's a very rare thing when it comes to Bejeweled. Regardless of what Bejeweled are you playing. Oh my god, another hypercube. Holy moly. I guess I can still play like a more. Oh, no. Yeah, sometimes if you are stumbled, the game actually has the decency to help you a little bit, just a little bit. Because if you press the hint button, your progress bar is going to go back a little bit, which is like a penalty. Like, are you blind? You can't see the free match. And What I kinda didn't like about in Bejeweled 3 that this penalty system has been completely removed. So basically, you can abuse the hint button as much as you like, and it honestly kind of feels a little bit empty. That the hint button has no real purpose anymore, which is kind of weird. I mean, in Chazzo Deluxe, another of their games, they have an achievement inside the game where if but you can only unlock if you don't use the hint button inside in one full gaming session. I mean, you can abuse it like play a log game and you can just screw yourself on the second round or something like that. But even in some of these games, some of these PopCap games, the achievements or some of these games achievements are hard coded into the game's data itself, not into the Steam platform integration. Which is probably for the better because really you can't cheat the Steam service system because there is one thing that I'm even guilty of doing so, and let's be honest here right now, the Steam Achievement Manager tool. What that does? Simply, if you don't want to break your ass about some seemingly impossible achievement, you just use this tool and you have got it. Cheating? Oh sure it is. Oh no, and after exactly 1 hour. Oh. Maybe this was my penalty because I just said the forbidden word of Steam Achievement Manager. Well, who knows? One thing for sure, Bejeweled 2 is a timeless classic. YouTube's reused content can go into another dimension. And as for you people who were able to sit through this rambling, then congratulations on your side for once. But you know what? I can't leave the game like that. Let me just show a little bit of a sampling of what the endless mode is, because basically endless mode is just like when you have a really hard time in your life, just like me now, and you just want to chill out basically. This is it for you. This is it for you. Endless mode is literally what the games, what they are telling you. It's an endless mode of Bejeweled. You cannot die, you cannot lose progress, but you can unlock all these little gemstones, or so it kind of has a progress bar, but I think there is like more than 10,000 levels or something like that. Maybe it probably has an end, or I don't know, but I'm pretty sure nobody is going to be that of a dedicated people to see what's in the end of the endless mode. I mean, you can probably still get some kind of game unlocking for that, but I don't really know about it. If you want to know, you can just look at the cutting room floor or just any guide online, and they are going to tell you what are the requirements for all of the other game modes. So yeah, I think I was talking about Resident Evil 4, and maybe I said that it has more content than most AAA games today, which is kind of sickening, since the microtransactions were invented. Back then, developers rewarded these hardcore gamers if they achieved something in their games, and as I probably just repeating myself, I really miss that era of those games where you really had to sit down. It was like a project, like a work project. If you wanted to work on something, you put like weeks or even months to do something. And you know what's even what probably never nobody is going to ever experience today in this online modern era of gaming and streaming and all of that. Is back then, if you had no idea what to do in a game at one point, you know what you had to do? You either had to buy a magazine, a gaming magazine, which had all the secrets and things and just told you the solution to something, or then you really had to figure it out on your own. And honestly, this thing really only applies to some of these extremely obscure games that really nobody really plays it, probably because of language barrier. And honestly, those weird text adventure games were kind of like a gold plate, I guess, if somebody really wants to challenge himself for games that has no guides whatsoever to beat some of them. The other question is actually, do you actually want to do those? Well, I leave it up these decisions for you gamers, because that's it. 1 hour of Bejeweled 2 footage and a partial response to YouTube's system again. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and see you whenever I make the next video. So bye bye.